The Bank of Ghana has hinted of plans to review its regulations on mobile money transactions in the country by July this year. According to the central bank, this is to allow it to address the numerous concerns raised over the implementation of the current electronic money issue EIM guidelines designed specifically for mobile money and all types of electronic money. The move has also become necessary following recent comments by various industry players on some lapses in the current laws, which they believe has led to the overlapping functions of the telecommunications and banking sector. The head of payment systems at the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Seto Ameduku, who was speaking at a session during this year's African Mobile and ICT Expo, MOBEX, justified the review and called for more stakeholder engagements during the process. He said with just 1 year of implementation of the 2015 guidelines, July this year, we are going to review the guidelines again based on some of the challenges that was identified. So when the time comes, we would expect that all stakeholders make an input to improve the existing guidelines. And we have Afenyo Markins. Alexander Afenyo Markins is the Member of Parliament for Efutu constituency. He joins me live now. Good afternoon, Mr. Markins.
Good afternoon, madam.
Well, you say
to your cherished viewers.
Okay. You say you will drag the Bank of Ghana before the legislature. What for?
Well, first of all, let me concede that mobile money business is for transactional convenience. Of course, it allows easy access, but it undermines the effort at fighting money laundering and organized crime in the sense that the business is not regulated. Don't let us forget that not too long ago, the same Bank of Ghana allowed microfinance companies to invade the financial sector, and people found that to be a safe haven, only for them to lose huge sums of money, which has become a burden on this economy and the government, and people have lost their fortune. Okay. In a similar vein, we know that telcos are registered for the purpose of providing telecommunication services, and they are regulated by the NCA. So if they want to operate mobile money business, my view is that they must have a subsidiary registered for that purpose, and same must then come under Bank of Ghana's regulation. As we speak, Bank of Ghana is only telling us that they've issued some administrative guidelines to regulate the mobile money business in Ghana. But administrative guidelines are not themselves laws. If you have an administrative guideline, it must be rooted on some law. They don't have it because the Banking Act allows Bank of Ghana to only regulate those financial institutions that take deposit. So to me, even those guidelines are neither here nor there. Okay. We need a proper regulation.
Well, so would you say that the central bank has in any way contravened its own regulations?
Not only have they contravened their own regulations, they have also failed the people of Ghana, and they are allowing crime to take the center stage, and they are allowing banks to lose huge sums of money that would otherwise have come through the formal sector, through deposit taking and all that. Rural banks are collapsing because those in the informal sector are no more patronizing rural banks. If you walk around the country and you visit rural banks, a lot of them are collapsing because of liquidity. People don't go and deposit money there. People prefer to keep money in their wallet. So somebody has about 5,000 on a mobile phone, and prefers to rather keep it there rather than going to a rural bank or going to deposit money in a regular commercial bank. Last year alone, official records have it that we had over 33 billion Ghana cedis worth of mobile phone transactions. I am not saying that there should be a ban on mobile phone business. A mobile money business. I am saying that the mobile money business, much as it serves the convenience of all of us, because I patronize it, but it must be properly regulated. Because if you go to banks, they do due diligence on all transactions. If FIC and Yoko need such data to track criminals, they have it. Well, how do we fight money laundering if we come out with a laws on money laundering, anti-money laundering enforcement, and at the same time we say that, look, I can stand at Afenyo, transmit 5,000, 10,000 to another number, and my ID need not to be verified or ascertained. And we know people are buying phone chips off the shelf. Now, how do we determine those who are properly registered?
Mr. Markins, sorry to cut in here. So,
yeah.
Mr. Markins, how then do we deal with this particular issue? For instance, the Bank of Ghana has hinted of plans, to review its regulations on mobile money transaction by July this year. So, is it not a step?
What I'm saying is that those so-called regulations, regulation in itself, I would put it that it's a term of art. If you say regulation in law, it means that something that has a proper legislative backing. If you have an administrative regulation, you say administrative directive that you are enforcing. That is rooted in law. What Bank of Ghana is doing is not rooted in any law, because as a supervisor of the commercial bank, they can only act in accordance with the very act that establishes them and give them those powers. What they are doing, in fact, has no legal basis at all. Because technically speaking and legally speaking, the telcos are under the National Communication Authority. So my contention is this, that if the telcos want to operate a mobile money business, they must have a special subsidiary for that purpose. Then they can come under the Bank of Ghana Act. And if there is any mischief there which needs to be cured or any ambiguity, and then same must come to Parliament for amendment. Because as we speak, I tell you for a fact, there is no such law. And what they are attempting to do is because they know people are expressing concern, but they want to do something. But really, what they are doing is undermining even the Act 874 and the Yoko Act. How can FIC chief executive demand for the data on a transaction from a vendor? It's not possible.
Okay.
If somebody is at Yoko, there is any money laundering activity, and somewhere Yoko needs some data, how do they get it? Especially when people can get a chip anyhow without proper registration. So I'm saying that we shouldn't wait as a country.
Well, so how soon
to the microfinance companies to happen to people, then we wake up suddenly and pretend to be solving the problem. This is the time for us to properly regulate, because it has happened.
Well, so finally, Mr. Markin, Mr. Markin, finally, I want to find out how soon do you intend dragging the Bank of Ghana to court?
No. I have filed an urgent question.
Okay.
And I expect that once that is approved, the minister would come through and then answer these questions, and colleagues can now make input. What I sought to do on Friday was to raise it for the business committee to possibly consider getting the Bank of Ghana governor to brief the House on what is being done. Because we don't want the financial sector, in the name of financial inclusiveness, they are crashing the sector. And I'm surprised, by the way, that the commercial banks are not complaining. Yet they are losing money. It's not only in terms of crime prevention, but if we want to really formalize the financial service sector, we should not allow this to be done anyhow.
Thank you very much. I think that your points have well been made. Thanks so much. Yes, we are grateful to you. I have been speaking with Alexander Afenyo Markin, and he is the Member of Parliament for Ifutu constituency, and he says he's dragging the Bank of Ghana to the lower courts. We'll bring you more on that.